for stopping by. I decided today that I'm going to do some stitching, and we are sitting today at the table in the center of my sewing room. It's kind of funny that when we were building this house, and I found out that this space could be made into my studio, my dream was to have a small table in the center of it that my stitchy friends, my quilty friends could come and we could gather and stitch here. And it was fun, and I had to find the perfect table, mind you. So I found this distressed farm table, and it seats 6 people. 6 people. Of course, there's other chairs in the room that we could squeeze together if there were more than that. And I have many, many fond memories of sharing this space filled with stitching and laughter. But it's been quiet. It's been quiet. We are staying what some people would say is maybe over conservative, but not to us. We have a grandbaby that's due in September, and we are doing everything we can to maintain that bubble. So truly, my immediate bubble has only included maybe 1 or 2 other people, and otherwise I'm up here by myself with just the memories of it. And there are a lot of memories up here. Yeah, when they built this room, when we were first, I think we've been in this house since 2013. And originally, because this room sits above the garage, and so it's the size of the garage, basically. And I originally thought that it was going to have pitched walls, and so I asked the contractor, knowing that I was going to settle for what I could get, that if he could make this with regular straight walls, I would very much appreciate it, and by gosh, he did. And so I have lots of wall space that's totally jammed with all these memories. And sometimes when I come up here, I miss all the laughter and the camaraderie that happened up here. But it's okay. It's what we have to do. It's how we keep each other safe right now. And I am dealing with it just like all of you. Some days are better than others, for sure. But I thought today I would actually sit at my table with you and pretend that you are all around here with me. How about that? This week I finished my project bags for now. I had 4 more to make, and I got those done, and I have to get those in the mail. And then I was going to cut out the darts quilt, but my bestie Robin looked at my cherry wood fabric and said, "You might want to wash that." Some fabrics I pre-wash, some I don't. I mean, I used to be one that washed every single piece as it came into the house, no matter what it was for. But then when you get into kits, some of them you can't wash because you don't know how much shrinkage and whether you'll have enough fabric. And so this little bundle has been in its original bundle, and she said, "You better wash it." So I have to wash it before I can cut it. Since my background is basically white, that's what I'm going to do. And then I got a bee in my bonnet, because after all, I'm in the Bee Hive. I got a bee in my bonnet that I just wanted something new. And I have been really good lately as far as getting things to the point of binding, and so feeling quite smug, and giving myself a pat on the back. You should do that once in a while, pat yourself on the back. Yeah, be your own cheerleader. But I wanted something new, but I didn't want something big. And so I was just like perusing the internet one night and stumbled upon this little kit. It was a table runner, and it is, let's see, it's Good Morning Mugs Table Runner, and by Lori Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. And the kit comes in this little box. I know, I hear you. I hear some of you squealing. I know. It's the box, actually. It's the box that made me buy it. The table runner is adorable, but I really wanted the box. And so it arrived, and it opens like this. See? Isn't that cute? So I can use this box for other things, which I will be doing. And then inside was a charm pack. That's upside down for you, huh? No, it's not. Vintage Happy charm pack. Some Rick Rack. And some backing and the backing fabric and the background, and then table, the binding, and then here is the little pattern. Isn't that adorable? But it was the box that really sold me, I have to admit. So I'm going to be working on that sometime in August. I don't know when. But that is so cute. That is so cute. I'm really looking forward to that one, because it'll be bright and happy and small, and I'll get it done. And then that pattern, I can see myself doing patterns for out of fabric that I have for friends or mug rugs. I mean, wow, it just boggles the mind. Yep, so we had to cancel. I called up Dick, Sauvie Island, and told him, I think to play it safe we need to not come for our second week. You know, I couldn't bring myself to cancel the whole 2 weeks, so I canceled it a week at a time. You know, sometimes I usually am the rip the Band-Aid off, just rip it off. But for some reason lately, and we know why, I have been slowly turning into someone who has to do it slowly. Take that Band-Aid off slowly. Just to emotionally handle the disappointment and the choices, and to put my big girl panties on and realize that, yeah, the people, and from what I understand up on Sauvie, the people on the beaches are not, all of them are not behaving themselves. So that's the way it goes. You know, I empathize and I understand why someone just wants to throw caution to the wind, but I'm not going to. I want to see that new grandbaby, and the biggest heartache, because I get comments and emails from all over the world, and the biggest heartache is, number one, the loss of family members, and number two, not being able to see family members. And so I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to see that baby. I suspect that come September 1st, I am going to be a hermit, which is okay because I have lots to do here. Yeah. Well, someone on their comments was talking about what they were working on, and it reminded me that I have that same project. And back in when we were in Arizona, I had started this project, and I love it. And I have to say, if you do not know who Kathy Schmitz is, you must go to her site and Google all that she designs. She is such a fabulous designer. Both she and her sister have two separate companies, but they both design patterns and they both have fabric lines. I mean, some of my favorite flannels are from Bonnie Sullivan, All Through the Night, and that is Kathy Schmidt's sister. But Kathy designed this project. For those of you that have been around with me for a while, you saw me prepping that. Eastmoreland. And, you know, I truly love anything with a house. There's no two ways about it. But the thing about it is I'm also a person who, how do I say this? Well, I like shortcuts. I mean, I like ways to do things where, because we travel so much, that my projects travel better and they don't get stretchy or I don't lose pieces. And so I take a project, and generally I don't read the directions right away. It isn't until I get stuck on something that I read the directions. But I take the pattern because I am not a designer, and I figure out, how am I going to do this? And so I prepped this project back when we were in Arizona, and I'm going to start stitching on it because I have the perfect, I think I have the perfect place to hang it in my house, and I want to hang it. And I'm going to fill it. It's not going to be a project that's going to get done fast because I want to fill it with memories. I want to fill it with memories because that's the kind of project it is. I mean, really, it's houses. It's life. And so I prepped the basic background, and I'll just give you an overview of what I did. So I had bought, this is a project that you do not need a kit for, but I had bought the kit from Kathy Schmitz back then. I don't know if she still has it, but I'll put a link to her shop in the description box. So if you want to just go look at her designs, or maybe you have a local quilt shop that carries her fabrics. I love her fabrics. I mean, I have a lot of her projects and her patterns and her books, and what you love about a designer is when they are a lovely human being. Don't you love that? I mean, it's a win-win then for me. So first of all, what I did, because this was a flannel back, it was on flannel, I backed the flannel with Pellon SF101. And the reason being is that flannel is so floppy and it can get stretchy, although this flannel is awesome. And I suspect this is probably All Through the Night, Bonnie Sullivan's flannel, but I don't know that for sure. But I always back for my applique type projects, if they have wool motifs or a wool background or a flannel background, I always back it. And that's to keep the integrity of the base and to not get it all stretchy. You know, it doesn't stretch. But SF-101, you can needle through it without any problem. So don't be afraid that, oh my gosh, you're adding an extra layer and it's going to be hard to needle through. I've never had any problem. Now I do know, depending on different people's climates, is they've had different opinions about any type of fusible, and I don't know about that. I just know that's what I do here. Then I drew all of these different houses, and there was like a, you know, there's probably about 10 different styles of house and roof, and I drew them onto soft fuse. And soft fuse, just so you know, I'm going to get a tube out. Everything falling off the shelves. Soft fuse, the way I buy it, is in this tube like this, and it is three basically almost yard pieces. They're 37 by 18 inch each, so not quite a yard, but each sheet is big, and there's 3 of them in here. And the reason I buy it like this is because over the years I have learned that fusibles sometimes break down when they're exposed to air a lot, and so I don't like to buy my fusible off those big rolled sheets that some shops have. I like to have it like this because I will put the roll back in this plastic tube, and I have never had a problem by doing that. So on a piece, and I save every extra little scrap of this stuff because it's expensive. It's like $20 for this roll. Yeah, $20. And so I save every extra little piece in a little plastic box to use for other projects. So what I did was I drew onto here all the different shapes of houses that were provided in the pattern. You know, like the pattern has these different shapes. And I drew them on the soft fuse. And then I cut them up. And how she did it was with these little 2-inch charm packs. These were the houses and the roofs. And so on the back of that, I fused all of the different components onto the back of that fabric. And then I cut it out and I fused them. I randomly, I didn't look at the pattern. I just knew that I had to do 5 rows of houses. Each street had so many houses on its little street. There were 5 streets. And so I then fused them on the flannel. And so the reason I do this, some designers won't have you fuse the products, you know, the designs onto the base piece. But look it, I travel. I stitch in groups where I take my projects with me, and they are rolled up or wadded up, and I do not want to lose any pieces. And so now I know that all of my work is still here. And this, I prepped this, I think, back in either late January or February. So here we are in August, and it's still ready to stitch. And I didn't, you know, oh, this is the other thing I did, was I measured the size because on the design, I don't know if you can see this, there's an edge, there's a stitching edge, you know, where you stitch like a blanket stitch or whatever kind of decorative stitch you want around the whole neighborhood. I didn't want to like mark it with chalk and then have the chalk come off and all of that. So what I did was I measured it and marked it with chalk, and then I took my sewing machine and did a basting stitch. So you see there's that basting stitch. So I have a perfect line to do my decorative stitch around the whole project, and then I can pull that basting stitch out. I'm not even sure that it will show up, but it's there. I love that. I love that. So now it's all ready for the decorative stitching. And she tells you, I mean, she gives you all kinds of embroidery stitches to do and suggestions on what you might want to do. But truly, she is allowing you the freedom to do what you want to do. And if you look at this pattern, you'll see the trees are there. I am not drawing any of the trees. This is a funky neighborhood. It's like the neighborhoods I live in. You know, not every house is the same. The trees are all different. So I don't really care if this tree doesn't match this tree or this tree, you know, it doesn't matter. And in fact, as she suggests in the pattern, if you're a gardener, you might want to add flowers. This is your neighborhood. And you can personalize it. So I know that on some of these houses, I'm going to maybe put a house number that is reminiscent of a house I lived in. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And because it's not, you don't have to mark so much, there isn't that tension of oh my God, I've done it wrong. This neighborhood is a relaxing, comfortable neighborhood. So I'm just going to, oh, looks like G is home. See, I'm right above the garage. I'm right above the garage. And so I'm just going to sit here and stitch. I'm going to move the camera and we're just going to stitch for a few minutes. I got, let's see, got my glasses. I've got my iced tea. I've got a pair of scissors. Look at my little bee scissors someone made for me. Isn't it cute? And I'm just going to keep this picture just to kind of see what she's done. And now I am going to start stitching. And as far as stitches go, you know, she has all kinds of different demos. French knots, lazy daisy, cross stitch, blanket stitch, feather stitch, chain stitch, you know, stem stitch. Whatever you feel like doing is what you should do. So I hope you guys are all doing okay, and that that life is healthy and that you're getting to see your families. I tell you, it's like you don't want to. Hi, come up here and say hello to the camera, to the people out there.
Who's there?
I have lots of friends sitting around the table.
Oh. Hello.
Hello, see? Everyone was asking about you anyway, so now they must think you disappeared because you're never in the picture anymore.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I'm just stitching along with them at the table because, you know, nobody actually gets to come and sit here.
Yeah.
But we're all sitting here.
Looks nice.
Looks nice, huh?
Yeah.
Did you have a nice time out there?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful out
What's the
there.
temperature?
About 70,
Oh, that's not bad.
but it's getting warmer.
It's getting warmer. What's the high supposed to be?
About 80.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect happy hour weather. Yes. Okay.
All right. See you guys later. Have fun.
Okay. So I think I'm going to move the camera down just so you can see what I'm doing. Not that it's anything big. I'm having to reacquaint myself with stitching, embroidery stitching. Oops, sorry for the shake. Let's see if that, yeah, there we go. So I'm just trying to make a stem, and here I'm just doing a straight stitch. So where was I? Oh, that was kind of fun, huh? So I'm just doing this straight stitch. Not so straight stitch. See, that's the best part of these kind of projects, is that you get to do what you want to do. Now, I was really tempted to just stitch these houses down by machine, but they're not very big. I mean, look at how big they are. They're just, and I thought that's a whole lot of, I haven't decided that yet. So yeah, so what was I? Oh, I was asking how you guys were doing. So how are you doing? Are you getting to see your family other than who lives at home? I mean, remember in the 90s or early 2000s, there were all those movies about failure to launch and how adult children were bouncing back home, and socially there was that worry that the economy was such that that age group couldn't make it, they couldn't get the jobs that would, they were the first generation that wasn't making more than the previous generation. And now I wish that my kids would bounce back. I know that's horrible. That's horrible for me to think that, but I would love to have my kids have to, well, not have to, but want to come live. I mean, my mom's family, well, what am I saying? Our family. Our family has always been, when I was growing up, our family was always a household that was mixed. I mean, I always had, throughout my whole growing up period, I always, from both sides of my parental family tree, I always had cousins and aunts and uncles living with us. Our front door was like a revolving door, but generally the traditional family was that you successfully launched your kids, your family members were all doing well, and then everybody had their own house. That's what I was trying to say. And that it wasn't necessarily a sign of success when you had families living multi-generational or multi-household homes. But now I kind of want that. I want to see my kids. I mean, it's more of a struggle to see the kids now. We have to make sure everyone's been safe, and it's not the same way. But it makes me long for those times when I was a kid, and we had aunts and uncles and cousins all living with us. Yeah, our bedrooms were always moving around to accommodate. And even though all of her trees are stitched the same, they have the same, my trees are not going to be that way, because I have not lived in a neighborhood that quite look like that. So I'm just going for it. I'm just stitching away. This tree is just a straight stitch with branches going every which way. And I know Kathy, she is just a sweet, sweet person. She would not be judgmental about me not following the pattern. And do you see how easy it is for me to needle through the Pellon? Yeah, it really is a piece of cake. I know when I watch the news, the weather, the rain and the weather is like unbelievable. Of course, I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, this is monsoon season. This is monsoon season in Arizona, and the first time I saw that sign driving around Arizona, I was like, what? I thought monsoon was like Thailand, and so it was like, that's where my heartbreak is, that the travel is so restricted now, because there's so much to learn by traveling, and but Arizona has a monsoon season, and so I believe that is what's going on right now in different parts of the country. They have lots and lots of rain. I made myself a glass of iced tea. All I do is throw a peppermint tea bag in there. I'm trying to stay away from carbonated. I really love kombucha. And then there's bubbly apple seltzer water. But I seem to be developing an issue with GERD, gastric reflux. And so I am trying to be a little better in my choices. Not that those are bad choices, it's just that my body is not liking things right now. So G was asking me if I was stressed about everything that was going on, and I said, I don't feel any more stressed you know, I don't feel the stress. I mean, sure, I wish things were different, but it's a beautiful day, and these are like, you know, like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. These are what my trees are going to look like. But you know, I love them. They are so interesting. So did I make a bunch of you want to go out and get that coffee cup table runner? Is that not the box? The box is adorable. I mean, the box is just adorable. And so, oops. And for this project, I'm using some, well, I could use any thread I want. But what came in the kit was Valdani thread, and it's the number 12 weight, and it's P1 0531 0514. Bingo! No. Oh gosh, talk about being silly. So I'm really anxious this next week to see my youngest grandson. I wish I could see my older grandson, but he's kind of going back and forth between different families of his mom's family. And when you have a grandchild that is his family unit is a divorced family unit, you know, it provides a little more challenge to fitting your life into his life. And he is the sweetest. He is so sweet. I look forward to seeing him one of these weeks here. I'm somewhat concerned, as I know a lot of you are concerned, about how your grandchildren are, if they're going to go to school, or how the school thing is going to go on. Oh, I'm looking for, I thought I saw, oh, there it is. There's a little scrap of red thread. So I'll put the berries. She has berries on her trees, and I think that looks pretty. Adds that little pop of red. It feels good to bring this project out. You know, see, that's the thing, is that you forget. If you're a person like me who is not monogamous when it comes to their projects, and you get attracted to, ooh, there's a shiny thing over there. If that's the kind of person you are, I should have brought a needle threader over here. Then you forget what you have started, you know, and that's the one benefit of kind of cleaning your stitchy room and moving things around, is that you find things that you didn't know, that you forgot. You forgot that you had them. I'm just doing a couple of, just some French knots on the end of my trees. Oh, I'm so glad we decided to meet today here at the table in the beehive, because this has made me all excited about this project. I'm just going to leave this project out on the table, because that's the thing, out of sight, out of mind, and it doesn't take much to do a tree. And then whenever I came up here, I did one tree. This could conceivably be done. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's like 30 trees. And so it could conceivably be done in a month or so. I mean, the trees could all be done. And then I can embellish that's the thing, is that these houses, you could add buttons, you could add charms that you have. This is all about your neighborhood. And the fabric line that she used for this, that I'm sure you can still find some places, is called Home. Home. I loved hearing that a lot of you still have a dream to come to the Sisters Quilt Show next year. I hope that I see some of you. Wow. I did one tree. One tree in the neighborhood. I'm an arborist. Bring you back up into view, huh? Yeah, so I can conceive of, I'm just going to leave this laid out on the table, because then every time I come by, it'll take me 5 minutes to do a tree, and my neighborhood is going to keep growing. And then I'm going to be able to embellish it. And I know on her website, she has, if you have that printable fabric, she has for free, at least she used to have for free, motifs that you can print off on fabric and then applique on here. And then I have some buttons and beads and fun tape, and I have all kinds of fun ribbons. And I mean, you cannot be a hand stitcher and have moved into Sue Spargo's world without having all kinds of embellishments, But I'm going to let you go. Thank you for hanging out in the beehive with me and sitting around the table. It's been too long since I've had girlfriends up here, and I love it. And I appreciate each and every one of you that you take the time. And I love everything that you share with me. I mean, I grieve with you, I laugh with you, and I embrace all that you're dealing with too, because that's the thing, is that we're not a solitary stitcher in any way in this new world. We're friends. So thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next trip to the beehive.
Thanks for watching.
And be sure to like and subscribe on Quilt Roadies.